Hey there, everyone. Manny Torres here, and excited to have another episode of our Versus series. And today we're going to be talking about one to one versus one to many. And I'm excited to have with me here today my business partner, Kenny Harper, who's going to be representing one to one. Kenny, say hello to everybody.
Excited to be here and take you down. Last time you couldn't even hang with it.
I'm excited to have another chance at you here today, Kenny. I'm Manny Torres, and I'll be representing one to many. Um, Now, to get us started off, for those of you who are not familiar with the difference between one to one and one to many, we are talking about for B2B advisors having a service or product or a way that you're working with your clients. And one way to do that is one to one. So, different ways that may show up is coaching. So, you're coaching a client through the process. You may be doing consulting where you're not only talking to them on how they're doing with their business, but consulting them on strategies. And more familiar with the accounting world is advisory services. So providing those advisory services for those clients. On the one to many side, what we've got is group coaching similar to one to one, but now we're one to many. We have programs. So this could be around a certain deliverable or process that you're going through. And then we've also got products. So those are several different ways that you can do one to many. There's many others, but those are a few that we are talking about today. And I want to share some examples. Kenny, you're familiar with universal accounting. So this is a little bit of the roadmap that shows some of the items that they offer that go along with their business model. Can you speak to some of the things that you've seen Universal doing that provides that one to many opportunity?
Well, they've got great trainings and they do workshops. GrowCon is the conference that was here last year in Jacksonville, Florida. Had the opportunity, thanks to Roger Connect, to open the conference. They had great vendors. It's about getting people together and cultivating transformation. Hey, I see what you're doing, Manny. You're making me speak to one to many sort of presentations. Thanks. All right, keep moving, keep moving.
Another great example is Nerd Enterprises. So Seth does a great job of sharing some products. He does a great job of showcasing those products. So that's another example. Really, Kenny, I'm just showing what one to many is just because a lot of people aren't that familiar with it. One
Mhm.
other item I want to share is Roundtable Labs. So, Mastermind, that's another form of group coaching or group interaction where you can bring people together and talk about different ideas and get over ways that you can overcome challenges and bottlenecks. We've also got the Profit First Professionals family. So, you may have seen people like Suzanne, who has a book on Profit First for minority business owners. So, these are ways that you can productize your services. So I just wanted to share a few.
Quit stalling. Let's get to the fight.
All right, Kenny, we'll move on just for you. All right. So we're going to start off. We're going to do 5 rounds. If you didn't see our last episode, we go through 5 rounds. We rank each one to see which of our contestants wins. And then at the end of our versus series, we'll identify a winner. So, Kenny, I'm going to start you off. I'm going to prompt you with some items here so that you know what we're talking about. You are on the side of one to one. Our first round is about client engagement. And the first little prompt I've got for you here on screen, go ahead and speak to that, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Well, when you're one to one, it's between you and the person that you're working with. You're not trying to have all your dirty laundry aired out. If you really want to have that vulnerability and really get a sense of who someone is, it gives you that intimate spot. Our first business coach, Steve Gornson of Action Coach, really great guy, helped cultivate that experience for us. And then Karen Anderson from the International Coaching Federation, another great coach who works with people and helps cultivate transformation. So it's really the depth and the engagement and the personal interaction you just can't get when you're doing things in group. It's customized.
Yep. So that's the next point there, Kenny. I'm kind of prompting you with. So not only is it personal, but how can you speak to how one to one is customized to someone?
Well, you're taking the time to make it personal. You could just put all the bullets out and we can just get it done. It's you're working with people directly. You're customizing that experience. It's more personal. You get to know who that person is. It's not like I need to make it fit for everyone in a group. I'm going to make this individually customized based on your unique gifts, your challenges, where you want to go. And that's going to be hard to replace. I don't think you can top it when you're doing a one-to-one to really give that engagement.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that, but I'm going to bring some counterpoints here with one to many. So when you have a group, you mentioned Action Coach. One of the things that they do is they bring a group of business owners together. The great thing about having that group is you get that group input. And you're able to see where people are at different stages, so you can start to look down the road about what's happening. The other part is with group programs, a lot of times you're following a set program. A lot of times with one to one, you may be working on something that's customized to you, but sometimes you get off track because you're not following a program. And then the last one is you can review on your own time. A lot of times with group programs, you've got resources you can go through and watch and do it at your own pace. So it allows your own one on one engagement. Maybe you're not able to get that same type of peer to peer with the coach, but you're able to interact with other people in the group. Now, I gave my items here, but I'm going to have to concede on this one. I do believe one to one is the winner here. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Kenny, you are winning once again. But
round one.
I'm going to come back on here. I don't go down that easily. All right. So, round two, we're going to be talking about revenue potential. So, when the rubber hits the road, business is all about making money. So, Kenny, go ahead and speak to your bullet points here and let me know how this is going to help you win this round.
Well, typically, it's typical. You could do anything, right? Anything's possible. But when you're doing one-to-one, you're giving someone your dedicated time. You only have so much time, so you can charge a premium because they're paying for that exclusivity. There's scarcity. There's only one you, so not everyone gets access, and you could be really selective, right? If you only have so many slots and there's scarcity, because there's scarcity, you can charge top dollar. So the revenue potential, there's people that can charge 10 to 20 to $100,000 just to have access to their intellect, to their time, because there's only so much of it.
Those are great points, Kenny. And, that's great that you can charge a lot. But on the same side with one to many, you can still charge on that value. So just because it's one to many doesn't mean you can't charge a premium or be able to bring a lot of revenue in there. The other great part about one to many is that you can scale it. Whereas one to one, you're stuck with how many single people that you can work with. With one to many, we can scale that and you're not taking on a lot more expenses as you're able to sell more of your program. And then finally, it's flexible. You can have different levels. So not only can you have a premium level, you can have a mid level, you can have a low level. That means there's more people that you can serve, more opportunity for growth, and more opportunities for long-term success and scalability. So, Kenny, who do you think won that round?
Well, Dan Kennedy was one of the one of the pioneers of direct marketing, one of the people mentors that we followed, but we ended up running chapters of GKIC, and that Dan Kennedy he's the godfather of marketing. If you haven't heard of him, helped teach Ryan Dice, digital marketer, Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels, things of that nature. Anyway, I'll give it to you, Manny. Ultimately, you can hit more people, you can make a bigger impact in a one-to-many from a revenue, and it's scalable. It's scalable.
Yeah. And I think what you were saying there, like we said last week, a lot of times it's not just one or the other. It's how do you interlace these to have that ideal business. And that's what Dan Kennedy's been able to do. All right. Moving on to round three, time investment and efficiency. Kenny, you are up. Go ahead and share what you think your attributes are.
All right. So when you're talking about time investment, it's about like you choose when you're going to be connecting with people, and you can be really focused on selecting the time that you're going to meet, the agenda that you're going to do, and because it's customized, like we talked about earlier, it could be really efficient because you don't have to kind of like put different attention to different people and orchestrate for a group. So I think that's one of the benefits and why I'm going to win this round, Manny, because When you're looking at group, although there's great things about group, you can't really get as laser focused as you can from a one-to-one perspective.
Yeah, and I do agree with that, Kenny. One thing with the group, though, you can also choose those times. Obviously, you can't be flexible where you're bouncing them around. Ideally, as a coach, you don't want to be doing that either if you're doing one to one. But one to many, you can pick the times that work best for your groups. They're very efficient when you're doing a group because you're doing one to many and you're able to uh, highlight and interact with a group at a time. Sometimes when you're answering questions that one person has, there are questions that other people may have. And the great part about that is if you record those sessions, now those can be replays that are in the portal. You're serving your audience on a better way. So despite your time investment and efficiency that you're doing, Kenny, I still think the winner there is one to many because there's just so many different ways that one to many can help the business owner. I think you're helping the client on your side, but in terms of building the business that we really want to have the lifestyle that we want, I think one to many is going to be the winner there.
I'll give you a shout out that Joe Woodard of Woodard Institute, Woodard does Scaling New Heights. They're actually having David Allen, author of Get Things Done, speak at Scaling New Heights, and that's just a testament to, again, being able to have that impact in front of many different people. So I do see that when you're able to move more people forward in the same amount of time, there is something to be said about that. So I give it to you this time. I'll get you in the next round.
Sounds good. And as a note here, if you're liking this content, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, Growth Amplifiers. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified when we put new content out there. We're always creating content that's helpful for B2B advisors. And if there's something that you would like to see us create content around, let us know so that we can create some great content for you and your business. All
All
right.
right.
So moving on to round number 4, we've got results and impact. All right, Kenny, you're up to bat.
So when you're talking about results and impact, when you're working with someone one-to-one, you could really adjust your approach to that individual, group. Sorry, what am I doing? Company, because you can adjust even when you're doing like it's one company. I'm going to count that as a one-to-one, but it's giving the individualized attention, direct accountability, and you can really assess, because you're connecting with them genuinely, how they're receiving that message. And if they're maybe saying yes, but you can see it in their mind and in their body language that they're really not feeling the idea, because you're connecting one-to-one, you can tune in a bit deeper. And I think that really gives an advantage. There's pluses of having the group, but you can't connect and focus on everyone at the same time to the same level. So it's just really irreplaceable. When we were doing workshops with digital marketer, connecting with their team, granted it's many people, but you're connecting with the leaders and you're talking to them as an organization. You're being able to see what they're buying into and what they're not. So I'll let you speak to that. Maybe you're giving me a little bit of grace with a one-to-one if you're working with a small team.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that that would still fall under one-to-one. But you and I have worked with businesses, and I think the main thing that you're speaking to there, what am I doing? I'm helping you, is that you're meeting them where they're at. Whereas on the one-to-many, you still have the ability to work with a group. The cool thing with one-to-many is there's peer support. So not only are you getting interaction from the coach, but you're also getting from the other members because many times they're either been where you've been or they're at where you're at, and they can provide different perspectives. The other thing is you're going to get that peer accountability. When you see someone else in the group that's doing great things, that's going to encourage you to do things as well. And then there's also a wide range of additional support elements depending on what type of program that you set up, where you can have videos, you can have tools and resources that are all part of the program that you can access to supplement what you're doing directly in the group sessions. So I think both of these sides have a lot of benefits. But in this round, I'm going to give it to you, Kenny. I do believe the one-to-one has a little more results and a little more impact just because you're able to, as you said, really meet them where they're at, see some of those subtle differences, and a great coach is going to be able to help those people elevate and break through those. Man, we're starting to get tight again here. All right. So if you're listening in and you're thinking about this for your own business, you're that B2B advisor and you're thinking, hey, I would love to add some one-to-one items in my business. Or, hey, maybe you're just like, I want to build that program. Share your comments with us. Let us know how you're doing. If you're doing a one-to-one program, are you doing a one-to-many? What has been your experience in that area? All right, we're coming down to the final round here, Kenny. It's Friday afternoon. I'm ready to knock you out and be able to go on to my weekend as a victor.
Best of luck.
I'm going to give you this one last chance to see if you can go for 2 weeks in a row with a win. So round 5, we have market demands and trends. So what is it that the market's saying? It's one thing for Kenny or I to say what we believe is best, but what about the market? So Kenny, go ahead and share a little bit about what you feel is a benefit to one-to-one.
Well, you're really being able to adapt to what is going on in the market. For example, I like Mike McAllowitz, who has great coaching programs. He's one of the best entrepreneurs that I know. Is definitely a role model. He's the author of Profit First, but he's also wrote some great books on leadership with the book All In. He's got the book Clockwork, which talks about systems and efficiency. And I think it's really being able to go in depth and create those experiences is one of the things that he understands who the market is, what the challenges are, and then he creates systems and tools to really fulfill great experiences and cultivate that transformation.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, some of the things I've heard people say in the business world is now, more than say like 10 or 15 years ago, is having that one-to-one coach is not something that's odd, right? A lot of top business owners have that coach, so it's a little more acceptable. Moving on to my side here, Kenny, um, I feel like a lot of people are shifting to the one-to-many because they prefer a program versus something that's open-ended, right? A lot of time coaching agreements, they're just ongoing. And sometimes it feels like another one of those recurring fees. And it's like, hey, I don't see an end to this. So a lot of times with a group program, you have a start and an end, and a deliverable or tangible thing that you're going to be achieving during that time period.
That's debatable. You can have a program on a one-to-one,
Hey,
and you can have ongoing in a one-to-many.
Hey,
Point.
I'm promoting mine. You should have spoken earlier. The other thing is that it provides an opportunity for added value, right? So with a group program, there's so many different ways that you can adjust to the market by providing new pieces, new technologies, new elements that can help boost your program so that it really customizes and fits to what's needed by the market. So I've seen groups that have jumped, from WhatsApp to Facebook groups to communities, and those things all help that program adjust to the market trends a lot more than a one-to-one coach can, because you can start to use some of those technology and trending things that can start to draw people in and build that engagement. All right, Kenny. Yeah, I mentioned community there as well. So I hate to tell you, but I feel that we edged you out on that one.
This is rigged. This is a rigged voting. I haven't seen anything this corrupt for some time.
Well, that's your opinion, and that's too bad because we have a winner of this week's versus
one to Manny. What the?
Yes, it's no coincidence there, right? So as you're sitting there listening and you're debating whether or not I'm right or Kenny's wrong, you can chime in and let us know what topics that you'd like to see in future Versus series. We're looking to provide these B2B advisor series to help you identify what things that you can do to really take your business to the next level and amplify. Kenny, any closing thoughts before we end the week here and you go home and lick your wounds?
I would just be curious to know if you tuned in, if there's something that really you agreed with, or if there's something that you thought was wrong. Tell Manny that he's wrong. You can do that. I give you permission, and have fun doing it.
Awesome, Kenny. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you for the next episode of Versus here with Kenny and I on Growth Amplifiers. And I hope you have an awesome week.